What was the wash-up out of Narrabri?
Look, firstly, very glad to get the win. You know, can't take winning lightly, so first of all, happy with the result. Thought there was some good footy played from both sides. There's some good attack and defence for us as well, but at the same time, there's going to be vastly different teams rolled out in round one. A lot of changes made throughout the game, so a lot of things we can improve on.
Fair to say that team that you rolled out in the second half be reasonably similar to what you roll out at Suncorp?
Yeah, I'm not sure. We change the team every 20 minutes, so we've been mixing and matching in training all the way through. So a lot of different combinations they can go with. So we'll see what happens next Friday.
Centres of the wing. What can we expect to see you be playing? What would you like to play?
Wherever's good for the team, mate. I think probably prefer playing 13. I think, but you know, happy to play the wing. Played majority of my Super Rugby on the wing, so we'll see what happens.
I know you mentioned the team was chopping and changing in the trial, but you must take a bit of confidence going out and getting the win and looking ahead to the season now.
100%. As I said earlier, you know, we had a pretty tough year last year, and you know, for the majority, didn't win a lot of games. So can't take winning lightly, and it's good to get the wood over them before we play in round one, I suppose.
You're up at you're Glen Innes boy, so only a couple hours away from the trial. What was it like playing in front of your family and friends who'd come down from the trial match?
It was great, mate. It's firstly just good to get out of Sydney, you know, with all the COVID stuff going on, and been in a bubble for, you know, ever since we've started playing, you know, halfway through last year. So all the city boys really enjoyed. Obviously, I'm biased and like getting out to the country areas, and had some friends and family in the crowd, but really enjoyed getting up there in what's a rugby area and giving back to the regional community, which we don't often get to do.
What are you expecting of your first match? What do you expect from the Reds to come out firing?
Yeah, for sure. They've got a pretty explosive side, and they were missing a few guys in that trial, as were we. But I think both teams were very fired up. With as we saw the last game of the Super Rugby AU last year was a pretty explosive game up there at Suncorp. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
Was that a mentality going into that game to stir them up in that round one game? Like, it got pretty heated at points. I remember Lockie, in particular, was like a red rag the ball.
He's like that all the time, mate. But I think both teams were just pretty bloody keen to play after being in isolation or training from home for that 8 weeks or whatever period it was. Same with all these local derbies. Everyone knows each other. Like, everyone's a lot of the time are good mates and like to get into each other. So I've got no doubt that it'll be the same come next Friday.
How do you think Isaiah's faring? Where do you see him fitting into that potential backline or being utilised there? I know he's played a bit in the centres and also on the wing too.
Yeah, so Izzy and myself have both been training a bit 13, bit on the wing. So and Teps and Joey is those sort of 2 12 options. So I guess we'll see which way they go, whether they go Izzy at 13, myself on the wing, or vice versa, or you know, Teps and Joey in the centres, for example. There's probably a bit of versatility there. So yeah.
How's James faring?
Yeah, he's coming good. You saw him train today. Got through the full session. He's had a bit of groin, I think, trouble coming out of the Wallabies camp end of last year. So he's been taking it pretty easy, but he's timing his run well. Bloody ram. He's got out of all the pre-season stuff, so I've been giving him a bit of stick about that. So yeah, I think he'll be right to go.
Been a high turnover of players. Do you feel like there's onus on the more senior guys to deliver, given that it is a reasonably inexperienced team?
Yeah, I think so, but I guess from my perspective, having played a few more games than some of the other guys in the team, really enjoying the energy coming from some of these younger guys. There was a lot of guys who got their debut last year, and I think you'll see those guys come out firing this year. Guys like Will Harrison, you know, Joey, Angus Bell. With a few games under their belt and a good pre-season, I've been really enjoying their energy. A lot of competition for spots, so there's a good vibe around the group.
You mentioned Tepper before as a potential 12 option. What have you managed his development over the past 12 months going from league?
Yeah, you know, Tep's a great player. I was his age at school, and he just absolutely carved up the competition. So always known he's been an exceptional player. He offers something a bit different to what the other centres, what the rest of us have got. Like, he's a big body, you know, he's as big as some of those forwards out there. So he's hard to tackle, as you saw in that Rebels game end of last year. He got us on the front foot. So in terms of selection, there's a few different options and different styles of players that the coaches can run with there. So it's good for the squad.
Who's a back that maybe we haven't seen, or punters might not have seen, that you think could flourish this year? Like, I know there was a significant amount of debutants last year, new fresh faces. that springs to mind?
I guess Jack Grant, he's a guy who's, he's 26 or 7 and he hasn't been picked for development. He's carved up the shoot for the last few years, so he's ready to go. And if he gets his chance, I reckon he's going to play really well. Obviously behind our captain and all of our halfback in Jake, but almost a similar style of player. The way he's really attacking ball running 9, so I'm excited to see him hopefully get a chance.
How much across I know there's going to be some law variation announcements, like slight tweaks to that. Last year that was a very different, feel, 50-22s, dropouts. How much better equipped do you think the teams are this year in knowing you've had a season under your belt with those tweaks?
Yeah, I think we're getting better. I saw in the trial game on the weekend there was a kick that trickled into the in goal and there was no pressure on the guy at all, and he's still in that mode of putting the ball down as opposed to taking space and trying to kick the ball along on the halfway line. So it still takes a bit of adjusting. But then there's a new red card law, Lockie Swinton law, we've been calling it. So if someone gets sent off, you get to replace him after 20 minutes or whatever it is. So I think we'll see some more attacking kicks again as guys are developing on that 50-22 law, for example, and the dropout law.
And what's your understanding when Lockie can come back? Round 2?
Yes, I think so, because he missed 2 Wallabies games at the trial and round one, so 4 match suspension.